Hey guys, it's Nick, and I'm going to talk about three Blackhawks that are in the news right now. It's going to be about Brandon Saad, Anton Forsberg, and Corey Crawford. Let's get started with Corey Crawford. Corey Crawford hasn't played since December 23rd, 2017, last year in Between the Pipes. His last appearance came against the New Jersey Devils, and he was pulled early. That was when his concussion symptoms came into play. Well, Corey is on his way back. He most likely is making his return Between the Pipes on Thursday against the Arizona Coyotes. I'm actually happy about him making a return against the Coyotes versus like a team like St. Louis, because Arizona so far this season has a total of 2 goals, just 2 goals that could help Corey Crawford in coming back, because it could help. He won't face as many shots, for instance, in my opinion. But a thing is, Coach Q in the training camp this year did say that he's not going to run 3 goalies. That means Anton Forsberg's the third wheel. With Forsberg not playing so far this season, hasn't made his season appearance yet. I don't know what the Hawks are going to do. Maybe keep Forsberg up for about a week or so. Try to find a trade partner to maybe potentially trade Forsberg. But not playing doesn't help his chances of getting traded. Then he can't just be sent down to Rockford, because he doesn't have a two-way deal, where if he had a two-way deal, it would be so much easier to send him to Rockford. He has a one-way contract, and they will have to put him on waivers. With that being said, if they put him on waivers, the Hawks are taking risk in losing Forsberg for nothing. I know last year Forsberg's numbers were probably one of the worst goalies in the NHL, but this is still a young goalie I'm speaking about in Forsberg. A team could take a chance and try to pick him up and maybe potentially bring him to their roster. For instance, like Florida, who currently has James Reimer and Roberto Luongo's injured at this moment. They could potentially try and trade with Florida, but most likely the Hawks will have to put Forsberg on waivers, and someone will take the risk in claiming him off waivers. If he does pass waivers, he will go to Rockford. But in Rockford, the Ice Hogs currently have Colin Delia, who's looking to make his next step in his development this year, and Lakonen, who's also looking to make a big step in his development this year. What would that do to those 2 goalies if Forsberg goes to Rockford? It's a big question in the air with Forsberg. But having Corey Crawford coming back potentially this Thursday against the Coyotes, it's a shot in the dark. It's basically the Hawks are taking a risk of running 3 goalies, even though Coach Q did say that he's not going to do that this year. But at this moment, it could potentially be going to 3 goalies. I will be okay for like a week or so, but with the Hawks playing 6 games in 9 nights, it will be okay to have 3 goalies. Because Corey Crawford's coming back from injury for the first time since December 23rd of last season, and you do not want to put a giant load on Crow coming back from a concussion. Then Cam Works played solid in net. I admit that he's let in some subpar goals, but that's what you get. But I honestly am okay with Cam Ward being our backup. But with us going into 6 games in 9 nights schedule right now, it's looking like Corey Crawford and Cam Ward's going to... I would be okay if they split this schedule, like Crow plays 3 games and Ward plays 3 games. I'll be okay with that. But I will also be fine if they have the 3rd goalie just in case. If Corey kind of relapses to injury. But now let's talk about Brandon Saad. Brandon Saad was brought back to Chicago in the Artemi Panarin trade. Everyone knows that trade. The trade probably is looking at being one of the worst trades in NHL history. Well, Brandon Saad hasn't been Brandon Saad for the past year and 5 games so far. He started off the season last year red hot, but after that, after probably 20 games being back in Chicago, maybe 15 games, yeah, just about 15 games back in Chicago, he wasn't the same player. He looked like he lost all motivation in playing the game. This is a player that was compared to Marian Hossa, an NHL legend. Hossa being a true defensive forward, that's what Saad was compared like. And his first run with the Hawks, he was like that. His nickname was Little Hossa. And it's a shame that Brandon Saad at this moment only has 2 points, and they are only secondary assists, not even the primary. And that's not good. Saad is this type of player we are looking at needing to be one of our big guys. Like Jonathan Toews has stepped up his game, and because last year Toews had one of his worst seasons statistically, and Brandon Saad was on that line. Last night it came up in my live stream about, is there a potential that Saad can go back with Jonathan Toews and Alex DeBrincat and he can put up the points? Well, it's hard to say. I know he would statistically get more points, but he could potentially bring back down Jonathan Toews to what he was last year. Toews right now is playing red hot. He looks like his old self. He has the speed. Brandon Saad, on the other hand, does not look like himself. He looks unmotivated to be out on the ice. And he's been wearing the white jersey in practice the past few days. Meaning that he is potentially going to be healthy scratch for the first time in his career. And it's going to come on Thursday against the Arizona Coyotes, a team that is right now the worst team in the NHL because they only have 2 goals. But it's Brandon Saad. We all thought last year was this bad season. He was just slumping. I get that, but it's continued into this season. There's something wrong with Brandon Saad. He's getting paid $6 million, and he's not putting up points. So, I'm afraid it's just hard to see what's happening to Brandon Saad and when he will find his footing and start playing like Brandon Saad of old. He's only 25. I know he's a young player, but still, this is getting into that territory where he's technically a veteran. He's a two-time Stanley Cup champion and winning with the Hawks in 2013 and 2015. 2013, he was a rookie in the NHL. We're going into 2019. It's his 6th season in the NHL. And Saad just doesn't look like Brandon Saad. He doesn't. He's slow, he doesn't look motivated, and frankly, he lost that title of Little Hossa last year after not performing. So leave a comment down below on what your thoughts are in these topics that I talked about. And thank you for watching the broadcast. Please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And most of all, let's go Hawks.